Why is the US federal budget process unclear? Imagine trying to follow a complex maze with multiple paths that seem to change every time you look at it. That is similar to how the United States federal budget process appears to many people. It involves numerous steps, institutions, and rules that can make understanding the entire process challenging. To grasp why this process remains somewhat opaque, it is essential to explore its core components and the factors that influence its complexity. The process begins with the executive branch, primarily the president, who submits a budget proposal to Congress usually by early February each year. This proposal outlines the administration's priorities and funding requests for federal agencies and programs. However, this initial step is just the start of a lengthy journey. Congress then reviews the president's proposal through various committees, notably the House and Senate Appropriations Committees and the Budget Committees. These committees hold hearings, gather input from stakeholders, and draft budget resolutions that set overall spending limits. One reason for the process's lack of clarity is the division of responsibilities between different branches of government. The executive branch proposes, but Congress holds the power to modify, approve, or reject the budget. This separation can lead to disagreements and delays, especially when political parties or individual members have conflicting priorities. Additionally, the budget process is influenced by political negotiations, election cycles, and public opinion, which can shift priorities unexpectedly. Another factor contributing to the obscurity is the multitude of rules and procedures governing budget formulation and approval. For example, the Congressional Budget Act of 1970 established guidelines for the budget process, but over time, various amendments and legislative acts have added layers of complexity. Budget resolutions are non-binding and serve as a framework rather than a detailed plan, which can lead to further ambiguity. Furthermore, the budget process is affected by the need to address mandatory spending programs such as Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, which are funded automatically based on existing law. These programs often consume a significant portion of the budget, leaving discretionary spending, funding for defense, education, and other areas, subject to negotiations and political compromise. This division can make it difficult to predict final spending levels accurately. The timing of the process also adds to its unclear nature. The fiscal year begins on October 1st, but the budget is often not finalized until well into the year, sometimes leading to temporary funding measures called continuing resolutions. These short-term agreements can prolong uncertainty and complicate planning for government agencies. In summary, the US federal budget process remains somewhat unclear because it involves multiple institutions with distinct roles, is shaped by political negotiations and priorities, is governed by complex rules and procedures, and is affected by mandatory spending commitments and timing issues. All these elements intertwine to create a process that is intricate and sometimes difficult for the public to follow, even though it is fundamental to how the government allocates resources and manages fiscal policy.